Welcome, how's it going? It's Annaliese here, and I know I've totally been slacking on my model content. I was trying to think of ideas. My portfolio right now needs proper organization. I thought maybe I could do a video on that. And then I was like, maybe model tips and tricks on like how to get signed. And then I realized 2020 ain't been no normal year. I can't ignore a global pandemic. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break down this year in terms of the lows and highs of my modeling career and of the industry in general. I'm then gonna try and give you some tips for modeling in 2021 and navigating this madness. So, modeling in 2020, a pandemic, face mask, social distancing, like how does that even work? What does it even look like? But let's talk about what I look like. I'm trying to give you classic model chic, face, hair back, simple makeup. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not a look that I usually go for, is it? You guys know that I have quite an outlandish sense of style. And when it comes to going to castings, I really have to think about what I'm gonna wear, because I wanna wear something that still makes me feel confident and awesome, but isn't over the top, over styled, or just too much. But the point I was trying to make by picking out this outfit is that whether it's for a self-tape or a casting, a little black dress is a model's essential. Now, London went into lockdown back in March 2020, and as with every non-essential job, everything stopped. I was actually so lucky though that in the days running up to that, I actually booked a really big job with Next Home. Let's take a look.
Just add you.
Who knew I wouldn't be leaving my sofa for the next 9 months? The first low I'm gonna share, and yeah, of course, there's quite a lot of lows in 2020, but don't worry, I'm definitely gonna keep it positive. But the first one I'm gonna share is self-tapes. I am so done with self-tapes. Back in 2019, I was all here for a self-tape here and there, but 2020, it's too much. What is a self-tape, you ask? Well, it's basically like a casting video. It's a way to cast for jobs, but at home. So it's a video that you film, kind of showing your face, your hands, your body, whatever it may be for the job. And then you send that to your agent, and the agent sends that to the clients for them to pick whoever they want for the job. Of course, I get it. In a pandemic, a self-tape makes a lot of sense, but I'll tell you why I'm not a fan of them. It feels like they're starting to get more and more complicated. Like clients want more and more from you. Like you're almost filming like a whole damn advert. Like really, what is this? I've had clients asking for 30 seconds of raw crying emotion. What do you think this is? I've had to drive in my house. One even said, can you get someone to film you crossing a street? Which sounds easy, right? But do you know how hard that is to do by yourself? Nah, I think they're just asking for too much. They always seem to take longer than expected. And of course, there are like shorter, more basic versions that can be quite quick to film when you get used to them. But for me, I would just prefer to go to a casting. I feel like there's something about walking into the room and the clients feeling your energy, which is actually quite hard to convey on a self-tape. But let me show you an example of one of my self-tapes. This one's just a basic one. I can't even remember who the brand was for, but it's simple. Hi there, I hope you're doing well. My name is Annaliese. I'm 33 years old and I'm with Zone Models. Thank you. And that's basically it. I mean, when it comes to advice that I'd give for self-tapes, I would say that first off, you've got to have a good lighting. I use a ring light, but natural light can work as well. Make sure it's in front of you. I know that's a dumb point, but in front of you as opposed to behind you. Make sure your background is as simple as possible. A white background or just like not busy. Also, keep them as short as possible. while still putting in everything that they've asked you to do from the brief. Yeah. The other week, I had to do a minute of euphoric dancing. Yes, they ask you for things like this. Also, be aware of sound. You know how people like to do random drilling. Now, I am actually going to share some more tips for modeling in 2021 at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around for that. Sometimes clients will ask for Polaroid type photos to go along with your self-tape. And when I say Polaroid, I just mean photos on your phone. I think back in the day, the photos were taken using Polaroid cameras and the name just stuck. But really, we're just talking about taking photos on your phone. I also film my self-tapes on my phone as well. But in terms of what these photos are, they're basically very simple shots just showing your body. Simple, right? So think photos to the front, photos to the back, your profiles, maybe 3/4. You can wear like jeans and a t-shirt, maybe a little black dress. They also like to have them in bikini shots as well, because then you get to see like your whole body. And yeah, these photos, these Polaroid images are actually the kind of images that you want to send to an agency if you're trying to get signed. Yes, I said it. Why is that? Because Polaroid images are you at your simple, raw form. There is no point spending loads of money on bells and whistles and lighting and photography and all of this when an agency and clients just want to see you in its raw self. My agency recently did a Polaroid day at a studio. Yeah. Usually we would do them at their offices, but they actually told me that they got rid of their offices because of COVID. Like, there was no point everybody traveling in, coming into the London offices, when really they can do all of their work from home. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because I must admit, in the past, I've been very dubious of agencies that don't have physical buildings. But at the same time, it's 2020, it should be different. Let's shift to the energy and talk about the highs. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the jobs that I did book this year during the pandemic. Let's start off with Remington, who are a hair tools company, so straighteners, blow dryers, all of that kind of stuff. I shot an online advert for them, which I don't think is out yet. I actually had to go up to Manchester. Yeah, I had to travel and get on a train. I went from London Euston to Manchester Piccadilly during a pandemic. To be fair, at this point, it wasn't like phase 3 lockdown. It was like you were still allowed to go to work and that kind of thing, hence why it still went ahead. But I was definitely a little bit nervous about traveling, but it was pretty quiet. It was quiet, there was social distancing, everyone was wearing masks. The shoot itself, most of it was kind of shot in and around Manchester, so it was outside. There was a little bit of studio stuff, but I wouldn't say that I felt overwhelmed with people or anything like that. We were definitely on our best behaviour. Yeah, overall, it was a great job, really well paid, so there's no complaints here. Soap and Glory has been my lifeline during this pandemic. I think I've worked for them like 5 or 6 times, you know. It's actually Hogarth. Hogarth is an advertising agency who look after Soap and Glory along with like lots of other beauty brands, etc. Yeah, how their setup is that they shoot in one massive studio that's then divided up into small sections, so different teams can work on their different products. So yeah, it's definitely socially distanced. My MUA definitely had a visor on and a mask. The client is not actually there. They are available on Zoom. So every time a photo is taken, we have to send it to the client and get it okayed before we move on to the next shot. I actually filmed this day, I filmed one of the days that I was working for Soap and Glory, so I will pop the link to that above. I also did some jobs for Liz L, a beauty brand, doing some online videos, and I also did a shoot with a luxury tights brand called Hedoween. I am so grateful for these jobs because, yeah, there's been a lot of lows in 2020. I mean, this year has not been kind to many industries, including the modelling industry. There's just less work, less jobs. I mean, if big blockbuster films are being disrupted, then you can really see the impact that the pandemic is having on the film, TV and photography industry. If I was a multi-million-pound business, there is no way that I'd be organising a big budget shoot right now. I think you'd just be risking too much. I also think that they have a responsibility. Like, If you were to organise a shoot, it means that people have got to all arrive at this location, like God knows where people are flying in from and all sorts. And it just seems a bit risky. Like, I would wait until things were a little bit more certain and maybe focus my energy on social media promotions or animated adverts even. Some of you might know that I do voiceovers as well, and that has been popping during lockdown. I've voiced podcasts, radio commercials, and animated adverts. I must admit, I don't really talk about my voiceover stuff, do I? Is that something that you'd want to see? Maybe see some of the jobs that I've done over the years or some tips on how to get into the industry? Let me know in the comments below. One of the biggest voiceover jobs that I did this year is for Free Now, which is a taxi company. I've done lots of different versions of this. The TV, the radio, the shorter, the longer, adding in pandemic rules. Let's take a look. I kind of think she looks like me.
Black cabs and private hire vehicles have finally arrived together on one ride-hailing app. Free Now puts you in control. So however you roll, download Free Now and get 30% off your first 5 rides with code FREENOW.
All right, let's bring it back to modelling. My main tip for modelling in 2021, diversify your ish. Think about your social media presence. Can you build this up to influencer level? Maybe sign with an influencer agency and earn yourself some extra money? I mean, it can be done. There's actually things called micro-influencers now as well, so you don't have to get those stupid numbers. I do think that I'm considered a micro-influencer, but you can be one with a lot less followers than I have. I mean, model influencer. They kind of cross over, right? I mean, they're both about promoting products, and looking good always helps. So yeah, sort out your social media, start a YouTube channel, it is never too late, and you'll never know where you'll be in 6 months. Clients actually like it when their models have followings these days. The question always gets asked at castings, on forums, etc. How many followers do you have? I also think a following can actually help you get signed as well. Now, I'm not saying it's everything. You are still going to have to fit the requirements and present yourself as a model. But since agencies aren't holding open calls, you're going to be sending in your applications via email and online forms. And I think a following can really help your application look more attractive. The biggest plus point to 2020, not that there is a plus point of a pandemic, but it is that I've had the time to focus on my YouTube channel. Like, I really wouldn't be here doing this video if it wasn't for COVID. I mean, I'd probably still be doing like my non-watched outfit checks, but I definitely wouldn't have explored all the Antm content and the modelling stuff. Yeah, so there are silver linings. 2021. None of us know what it's going to bring, but let's face it, it's not like the fashion industry is going anywhere. We need to be ready for when these opportunities come back. Eating right-ish, skincare, get the regime on point, working out. But if I'm going to be honest with you guys, these are all things for me that are just about life preparation, not necessarily model preparation. Like, I just feel good when I do these things, and it's all about the mental health, right? Thank you so much for watching this video, modelling in a pandemic, talking about my lows and highs and navigating modelling in 2021. Please do check out my model diary playlist for more videos like this one, and let me know what other model topics you'd like me to cover. Don't forget to subscribe. Of course, I've got more Antm content coming. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you so much again. See ya.